Hi guys, welcome back to Linda's Pantry. So today it's kind of cold and blustery out and I'm going to stay in and stay warm and I'm going to make a beautiful meatball soup. So I hope that this interests you and you'll have a seat and share this recipe with your friends on Facebook or Twitter or however you communicate. I also would like to bring you along and share the idea of maybe checking out my Facebook page and hitting the like button, see who I'm watching and who I'm sharing with others, and go over to my Wild Tree website. All those links are right below. The Wild Tree website is where you can go look at all natural products that are healthy and delicious, no preservatives. You can absolutely read every ingredient and not go, what is that? You can shop for products, get recipe ideas in the recipe box, as well as if you would like the opportunity to become a distributor, then you can earn up to 40% of the product cost, and or just every time you shop have a 20% discount. It's just like having a 20% coupon for everything at Whole Foods. It's pretty awesome. Anyways, I hope that you'll stay along for this meatball soup. We're going to do it with venison. You could do it with lamb or beef, or a combination of veal and beef and pork would be delicious as well. It's just one of these blustery fall days, and so we're feeling like some soup. So let's get to it. All right, guys, have a seat, and I'll show you how I'm doing these meatballs. Back here in the blender, I have a slice of bread. I just put the last piece in there, and I'm going to show you. This is an easy, quick way to make breadcrumbs. And we're done. So, and you didn't have to listen to that whole thing. These were, this is a sourdough cracked wheat bread that I'm using. And it's the bread that we're going to have alongside this soup. So it'll kind of bring in that flavor. And what I want to do, because this bread is fresh, but I want to add some cream down. Let that kind of absorb in there. And soak up all that moist, delicious. And it'll add some moisture as well as a layer of richness. You could use regular milk. You could use beef stock, chicken stock. I'm happy to use up some of this cream. And I actually, one of my subscribers, and I don't remember who it was, but thank you so much. She sent me a link to a blog where they talk about, you know, calcium and vitamin D being absorbed, and also how when you're pairing dairy products up with the right vegetables, you're able to actually absorb it. Otherwise, you may not be. Pretty interesting. And I do have some vitamin D deficiencies, so I would really enjoy any kind of information like that. So, that being said, I am going to get started on this. Okay. So I've got my moistened breadcrumbs. I'm going to go ahead. There's a half of an onion that I've diced up pretty fine, and probably I can tell right now I'm going to need a bigger bowl. 3 cloves of garlic that I've chopped up, and this is a good handful of parsley, probably if you measured it, maybe 1/3 of a cup. So let's get that down. And then we'll get the end of my paper towels. In fact, I'm just going to dust this board off really quick so it's got a decent surface to work with. And we'll get moving on that. Okay. Now I'm going to put the bowl up here so I'm not clanging around. And I've got my Wild Tree spaghetti sauce blend. And really all it is a beautiful marriage of Italian seasoning. And I want to use this. So we want to make it a little bit on the Italian side. So a good healthy tablespoon of that in there. That'll go well with the garlic. And then we're gonna need an egg, so nothing better than a fresh, organic, cage-free egg to make. It'll bind these meatballs together really nicely. So I go ahead and mix that first. And then we're gonna get some Parmesan cheese out. I gotta get that grated, so I'll bring you back as soon as I get that grated, and then we'll get this all together. Okay, so now we're all ready to put the meat in there. I've grated down some Parmesan. Parmigiano Reggiano? Parmigiano? No singing. And this is the ground venison that from my deer this year. And it doesn't have any added fat, so this is very lean. We won't be getting any added fat from the meat. I looked at purchasing some ground pork to add some fat into the mixture and making a big batch and maybe freezing some. Oh my goodness. The fat content on ground pork was 19%, and I was like, nope, can't do that. It's just when I know it's there, I'm not doing it. So that was too much. So we're just mixing this all together, and it's changing the color because of the cream and the breadcrumbs, but that's all right. And instead of frying these off, because I want them to hold their shape in the soup, I'm going to bake them off in the oven. I've got my baking dish right back here. You don't want to really overwork this, but I don't see an alternative to getting it all mixed. It smells delicious already. It really does. And you'll notice I haven't salted anything. There's no added salt in here. We can add that to the soup itself. And now I think we're ready to start rolling. I'm going to put another glove on because it smells so good. So maybe I can do this. There we go. Okay, I'm going to move this out of my way, and we're going to move this over here. And bring my tray over. I've got foil down and then parchment over top. And I'm not going to use a scoop or measuring. I'm just going to try to make them as uniform as possible. And because this is a soup, I want this pretty bite-sized. I don't want big, giant meatballs because I don't want to have to manhandle them in the bowl. Everybody can do it their own way, though. You can make them big. You can make them little, little, little. And there we go. So I'm going to finish rolling these off and bring you back when I'm putting them in the oven. Okay, I'll wash my hands first. My goodness. Okay. Okay, I've got the first pan all ready to go in the oven. I'm going to put it in a 400 degree oven. Okay, there you go. It's in my on-the-counter top oven at 400 degrees. I'll tell you how long I leave them in there, and we'll put another batch in because there's a lot left. Over half of that meat is left. I'll put that in the refrigerator and wait for this to get done and get chopping on the rest of the vegetables that are going into the soup. Okay, so these little meatballs are done, and I'm just going to taste one right now. Make sure that I don't need to change anything before I make another batch, because now would be the time. You could change it. You could have, fried one off prior to see if everything's correct. Oh, wow. Delicious. They're delicious. Okay. So I have my vegetables cut up that I'm going to start the soup with. I'm going to let these sweat in a hot cast iron pot, and I'll bring you over and let you see how that works. And then we'll get the stock in, and then we'll load our meatballs, and they're small enough. They get done really fast. This soup actually will go pretty quickly. You could do an all-day thing out of it if you wanted to, but it's still gonna go pretty quick. So I'll bring you over and we'll show you how I do it. Okay, so I've got my grapeseed oil going down in here. I'm gonna use the roasted garlic, Wild Tree's roasted garlic infused grapeseed oil. A good, you know, 2.5 tablespoons. This is really the only oil that's going in here. So I want to make sure that you use high quality oil. You can get grapeseed oil anywhere. I just happen to be a Wild Tree representative, so I love their oils. That's what made me fall in love with the company in the first place. But you could certainly go buy grapeseed oil at the grocery store and do a garlic infusion. That would be simple enough. So anyway, that being said, this is getting hot pretty quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and start these vegetables, and they're just going to sweat for a little bit. Another fall soup. Soups are wonderful because they don't have to be exact. You can change this ingredient profile any way you like. This is just what we're doing. This is going to be a vegetable and meatball soup. So I'll get these browning. And now I want to start my seasoning layer. So I'm going to go ahead and put some fresh cracked black pepper on here. As much as you think you like. You know, I always pepper when I serve my, when I pull up my serving as well. Some Himalayan pink salt. Some herbs de Provence. A healthy teaspoon of that mixture. And we're really going to just sweat this until the onions become translucent. And I'm not going to put garlic in here because there's garlic in the meatballs. And it's face forward. So I'm not going to put garlic in this. Yum. How delicious. Okay, so I'll let you take a break and I'll be right back. Okay, so now we're going to put down the tortellini. And I have tortellini that I get at Costco. And in the fresh packages, they're super expensive in the grocery store, but at Costco you can get this for a reasonable price, and you can get like 4 or 5 or 6 meals out of this. It's just a large amount, and they stay good for a long time. So I'm going to bring this up to a good simmer. And again, I don't want to overwhelm the soup with tortellini, but I don't want to override the meatballs necessarily, because this is kind of a meatball soup. But we're having it with tortellini instead of pasta. And now I have half that package left for something else. So that's going to be delicious, you guys. Oh, I can't wait. Anyway, we're going to have it with some garlic bread, and it's going to be delicious. It's snowing outside here, and winter's on its way. And I think we're going to actually have a winter to speak of. So as soon as this pasta, the tortellini, is tender, and it only takes like 6 minutes. So as soon as that is tender and delicious, I'll serve it up and show you what I got. Okay, so now we have our end result. This is beautiful. I've got some garlic bread that I've toasted off. I toasted the bread first, then I took a fresh clove of garlic and rubbed it across that crusty bread. Right now I'm just putting some shaved Parmesan down, not even shaved, it's grated on a microplane. Parmesan down on the top of that soup. Oh, does that look good or what? This meatball soup is absolutely to die for delicious. And I'm gonna take a bite for you. It's really blazing hot too. So this bread is wonderful to get in there and dunk in that broth and get an idea what you're in for. Let's take a bite of that bread first. I'll just dunk that right in there. I can smell the garlic. It smells delicious. Oh yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna get a tortellini, some veg, and where's my meatball? Here, even though those meatballs are pretty tiny, we'll cut one in half, get a tortellini and some veg, and there you go. There's my bite. With some Parmigiano Reggiano. Yum. Okay, going in. And these are venison meatballs. Oh, don't they look good? Oh my goodness, that is delicious. That is comfort food at its finest. That is winter warming squash, butternut squash in here. All the sweetness of the vegetables really lend themselves. I want to take a bite of some carrot and some butternut squash as well. They just lend themselves to this meatball soup, and so I hope that this inspires you to maybe try something new. Try a meatball soup variation. It doesn't have to be my recipe. There's thousands of them out there. This is just one I did tonight. It's not my standard or my go-to. This is what I had on hand, and this is what I made. So let me try this. A little broth in here. Wow. That's absolutely delicious, divine. So I hope it inspires you to come back next time. Maybe give me a thumbs up, share it on your Facebook page, go over and check out my Facebook page, hit the like button, and or go over and check out the Wild Tree products. I used a couple of them in this recipe. Doesn't mean you can't swap them out for something else, because you always can. Absolutely swap it out for whatever you have in your pantry. This is always a pantry meal. So, guys, it's delicious. I hope you try it. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. God bless.